Now, Isaiah Sharp with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
I'd say that'd be a pretty cool way to spend your Saturday, taking a look at those phenomenal pieces of art. 82 degrees currently, light winds on top of that as well. Beautiful skies. Unfortunately, we are getting to the tail end of July and heading into August. The sky's not going to be as beautiful as what we saw earlier this month or in the month of June. It's just going to end up getting darker and darker, but you can still see a little bit of color off into the background. Temperatures today sitting into those 90s for some parts, a little bit warmer. Caldwell sitting at 96. Jordan Valley got there too, and Ontario 96 as well. 94 over in Boise, few 80s into those mountain ranges. These are some pretty normal summer-like conditions. We were treated to some much cooler temperatures earlier this week, but it feels as though the conditions are kind of returning to a very consistent basis, what we usually see per this time of year. Over our friends to the east, they're seeing some pretty impressive temperatures when it comes to the heat. On Tuesday, I showed you this map having all the heat advisories and a couple of extreme heat warnings. It looks as though those have started to dissipate. A couple of flood watches in parts of the country on top of that too, but it's been the temperatures that have been really impressive. But take a look at these. This is the heat index, so this kind of takes into account the humidity and the dew point on top of the temperatures. Over in the Boise region, felt like 81 for a majority of the day because of just how dry it was, which is great to see. A little bit warmer in other parts. St. Louis sitting at 92, 94 over in Little Rock and New Orleans earlier this week felt like 102, close to 105 with all the humidity they're experiencing. That heat expected to continue on heading into tomorrow, but something I'm going to pay attention to is where that heat is going. So the very hot in this high pressure ridge, you can kind of see the circle is going to move along in and bring in some very toasty conditions for us. This is going 2 weeks out into August. This is August 9th when we're expecting those temperatures to really start to rise. And so we haven't seen too much when it comes to crazy warm temperatures. But this right here, this is indication of some of those potential record-breaking heats that we've been used to. We saw last year some of the most triple-digit days in the month of July. This year, not so much. It's been what I would say a pretty docile summer up to this point. Only a couple of triple-digit days, maybe a handful, but heading into August, that may start to shift with some very warm conditions on the way. The very hot is still to the east of us, but we could see that activity really start to push on in, heading into the start of the work week next week. We'll just watch out for it. 97 for the northern Treasure Valley. Southern Treasure Valley will be sitting into those mid-90s across the board, expecting some clear conditions on the way. Temperatures into the 80s for McCall and Cascade. 90s expected everywhere else, in Riggins, Idaho, flirting with 100 degrees heading into Friday. Temperatures are going to be fairly warm going into next week, though. Low 80s turning into mid-80s, into those high 80s by Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's when we start to see that transition into August. And the Boise region is going to be feeling it as well. 93, 92 heading in to Sunday. 97, love to see that on Monday. I got plans to go floating on the river, but man, it is going to be warm heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. 99 on the way with chances to triple digits, and I'm expecting a very warm start to August as well. We're coming to the close of July, and a heat up is truly going to be on the way as we switch to the next month.